At last year's investor conference in Toronto, Cematrix CEO Jeff Kendrick made the point that 2014 was the year to watch, and he was right. In September, the company announced $8.4 million in new contracts, $6.8 million of which was for one project in the Oilsands. It announced another $1 million in work this past month, and it will be making another announcement before market open tomorrow morning. That's all I'm going to tell you. Cematrix is a cellular concrete company, which you are going to know much more about in the next few minutes. Cellular concrete is light. There's a piece of it on each table. It's suited for bad soil conditions and has a high insulation factor. The Howard Group's been associated with the company since 2009 when we assisted Cematrix with a $500,000 debenture in which we also invested, and we remain shareholders over the past 5 years. In short, the economic crisis gutted the company, and it went from having millions, literally, I think it was 12 or 13 million at that point, in energy-related contracts to under $3 million. And to its credit, management took substantial pay cuts, worked very hard to secure infrastructure projects, thus bringing balance to the revenue stream, and on top of it, it paid the debenture off right on schedule. Cematrix has just over 33 million shares trading in the 23 to 25 cent range right now. Its market cap is a little over $8 million, or less than the contracts it has announced in the past 2 months, and $8 million is about equivalent to last year's revenues. And with that, I'd like to introduce Jeff Kendrick.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeff Kendrick, and I'm the President and CEO of Cematrix Corporation. I wanted to thank the Howard Group for inviting us to participate tonight, and for all of you for being here tonight. Just recently, most recently, I've been talking about the tipping point as it relates to our company. That being when the market would start choosing our product over the alternatives. We are not there yet, but we are getting close, as evidenced by the significant increase in contracts that we've seen during the current year and all of the projects that we can continue to work on for the future. I trust that by the end of this short presentation, you'll have a good idea of who we are and what we do and what the opportunity for you may be. I first must caution you that some of the information you may be hearing tonight is forward-looking in nature, based on current assumptions and current events and current knowledge, all of which may change in the future based on changing circumstances. First, our investor highlights. 2014 is a breakout year for Cematrix, as Grant has said. We have a record $17.3 million in contracts to date. That's $1.6 million more than what we've announced so far, and that announcement will be coming out before the opening of business tomorrow. One of those contracts is the $6.8 million contract, which is our largest to date. We have unique proprietary equipment, foaming agents, and processes. We're approved in multiple provinces and states. Our customers are in the billion-dollar refinery, infrastructure, and oil sands markets. We've achieved significant engineering, owner and contractor acceptance, and we have over 15 years of successful product validation, and it's paying off. So what is our business? Our business is the manufacture and sale of on-site placement of cellular concrete for numerous construction applications. And what is cellular concrete? Well, essentially, cellular concrete is a cement-based product where we take out all of the typical aggregates like sand and gravel, and we replace it with a carefully constituted air bubble system. You can see by a picture of cellular concrete and by the samples that are on your desk that there's no sand or gravel, no aggregates, just air pockets. And it's these air pockets that give it the unique characteristics that it has. Lightweight and insulating with some structural properties. Because of these characteristics, cellular concrete is used as an insulator, a lightweight fill, or a void fill. So what do we replace? We replace rigid and other types of insulation, weak and unstable soils, and granular fills or a combination thereof. Our equipment is completely mobile. We can do projects anywhere in North America. We have over 300,000 cubic meters of seasonally adjusted production capacity, and we're building more units for regional allocation. We have two types of equipment. We have dry mix units and wet mix units. A dry mix unit essentially is a fully automated mixing, pumping, and foaming system. It's essentially a mobile batch plant that also pumps the slurry and adds foam inline on a high pressure basis. The wet mix units, the only thing that they don't do that the bigger units do is that they don't mix the slurry. We actually take ready mix supply from a ready mix supplier of a pre-designed material mix that we supply the ready mix supplier. So who are our customers? Our customers are essentially the engineers who design materials into projects. Although more and more owners are ordering directly, and it's largely because of the success we've had to date with those customers. Our major markets are infrastructure and oil sands and refinery markets, but there's also a commercial and industrial market as well. The market opportunity for Cematrix is essentially immeasurable, and the reason is there's too many applications, some of which we don't even know. Engineers come up to us with new applications all the time with our material. Just look at where it's used in cities. It's like the pink insulation in your walls. You can't see it, but it's all around you, or it should be, or will be in the future. Infrastructure applications include void fill, tunnel construction, tunnel grouting, bridge approaches, MSC panel and retaining wall backfill, road insulation, road bases, shallow utility insulation, et cetera, et cetera. The North American infrastructure market is in the billions, and we're just scratching the surface here. For Quebec, we're just starting to look at projects. In fact, most of them are coming from referrals from our major supplier and indirect business partner, Lafarge. We're currently working with Lafarge in a general contractor in town and the City of Montreal on a tunnel grouting project that will go next year. Although our first project may end up being the Pont de Champlain, or some people may call the Pont to, is it Jean Belleville or Pont de Richard, yes. Maybe we'll even be called the Pont to Stephen Harper in the end, who knows, right? Look at an oil sands project. We're initially insulating all the fire lines and utilities to facility under slab insulation for buildings, modules, and pipe rack foundations to pipe embedment and tank bases found throughout the facilities. This market is in the billions as well, and Cematrix is also still just scratching the surface here. So why is cellular concrete destined for success? Why is the product derived? Essentially, it's summed up in our value statement. Cematrix cellular concrete is a superior product to the products it replaces, and even more important to that, it's more cost effective than the products that we replace, and it's faster to put in place. In a letter from one of our clients from a refinery project or a refinery expansion project in 2008, on a relatively small project, we saved the client 5,000 man hours and 7 weeks of construction. And that's letters on file in our website for you to look at. Now I'll look at some of the projects that we've done to date. I wanted to just remind everybody that for all of these projects, we save the client significant time and money. The first project is at the Reagan International Airport in Washington, D.C., where we pour 13,000 cubic meters as a lightweight fill in order to enable them to expand their runway aprons. Future runway projects can be in the tens of thousands of cubic meters. This is our highly successful road project in Yellowknife. This is their main street that goes downtown, down to the lake, and up to the point that we poured our product, they were experiencing significant annual differential settlement and spending millions of dollars each year to repair the road. Since we poured our product in 2003, they haven't had to replace that or haven't had to fix that section of road since. Again, road projects like this can be in the 5,000 to 50,000 cubic meters or more. This is another example of the use of the product over weak and unstable soils, in this case for bridge abutments. Any soils along rivers or any waterways and swamps and things like that are all very weak glacial silts. In this case, we're replacing a very expensive piling system that typically doesn't work in very poor soil conditions. Projects like this also can be from 5,000 to 50,000 cubic meters or more. This is a picture of the New Sydney interchange at the airport in Sydney, BC. In this case, we used cellular concrete as an engineered lightweight fill behind MSC panels, and then they built the roads on top of the cellular concrete for the bridge approaches up to that overpass. Again, these projects or MSC panel backfill projects can be in the 5 to 50,000 cubic meter range or more as well. So another significant application for cellular concrete is underslab insulation for facilities, in this case refineries. Again, projects of this nature can be 5,000 to 50,000 cubic meters or more as well. And finally, the last project slide is a revolutionary approach to oil sands construction. This is actually a SAGD facility north of Lloydminster. In this case, they replaced a very expensive and time-consuming piling system with cellular concrete as an insulated structural slab. Oil sands projects can be up to 5,000 to 50,000 cubic meters or more as well. And the reason that I mentioned volumes to you is because for 2014, our projected volume is 60,000 cubic meters, which means in the future and likely very soon, one project will probably exceed our current year's volume. This slide is our sales growth by market from 2007 to 2013. You can clearly see in 2007 and 2008 we were significantly involved in the oil sands and refinery market. The crash of that market at the end of 2008, and then slowly building up of the infrastructure market until we became profitable again in 2012. The good news is the infrastructure market continues to grow across Canada, and the oil sands market is coming back as well. This slide just shows we were focused up to 2007, mainly in Alberta and mainly in oil sands. And this slide shows our focus in 2014, which is right across Canada, mostly infrastructure, and it doesn't show our infrastructure work in the US as well. This slide shows the 2014 projects that are currently under the radar of Cematrix. We've contracted $9.4 million to date, verbally awarded $0.6 million for a total of 10. Now, all of that is forecasted to be completed this current year, but some of it may carry into the new year. You never know, depending on weather conditions. For 2015-16, we've already contracted $7.9 million. Only $1 million of that relates to 2016. There's also an additional $76 million worth of projects that the company is working on for the period from 2014 to 2016, and there's one project in 2018. Now, not all of these projects will go cellular concrete or go to Cematrix or even go at all, but they're real projects that Cematrix has been contacted on for design assistance or quotes or both. This is our capitalization, current capitalization, 34 million shares outstanding, 3.1 million of options at 14.5 to 24 cents. That expire in 2018 to 19. 1.2 million of those options have not vested as of this date. And just our investor highlights again. 2014 is a breakout year for Cematrix. We have 17.3 million in contracts to date. We have a unique proprietary equipment, foaming agents and processes. We're approved in a number of provinces and states. Our customers are in the billion-dollar infrastructure, oil sands, and refinery construction market. We've achieved significant engineering, owner, and contractor acceptance, and we have 15 years of successful product validation and it's starting to pay off. I caution you when you see the third quarter results come out, do not be surprised. Our business is very seasonal in nature, and this year our season is all in the fourth quarter. We're actually scheduled currently to pour over 30,000 cubic meters in the fourth quarter, and we're well underway in doing that. That's approximately 5.7 million in sales. Now, the good news is that's still not our capacity, as we're not 100% busy in this quarter even. So if you extrapolate that over a full year, our capacity would actually be greater than 120,000 cubic meters and 22 million in sales at the current staff and equipment levels. Well, that is Cematrix in a nutshell. I trust that I've given you a good overview of our product, our business, and the opportunity for you. Those cellular concrete pucks on your desk, you can take home if you wish. Thank you.